Hey everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin, and you're listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by shamanspiritcenter.com and littleshaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. Today I wanted to talk to you about something that is very common in relationships of any kind with pathologically narcissistic people, and that is the fact that they don't listen, and sometimes they can even seem to be incapable of hearing you. You might notice that when you speak to a pathologically narcissistic person, though they seem to be listening and they're often even looking right at you, they then respond with something that has nothing to do with what you just said, or they only seem to hear one part of what you said and somehow manage to come to the exact wrong or opposite conclusion of your words. This is often a huge problem in these kind of relationships, and it is especially bad when the narcissistic person is upset. How upset they are often dictates how much they're able to listen, and if they're too upset, it may be totally useless to even bother talking to this person because they just cannot hear you. Many people think this is deliberate, and for some pathologically narcissistic people, it's probably true. But it also happens because their feelings are so overwhelming to them that that wave of emotion simply blocks everything else out. It can seem like they're changing the subject with their responses to you, or that they're ignoring you, and maybe they are. But often it seems that they're not even hearing you. After dealing with this for a while, you may even be able to recognize the look in their eyes when they're no longer listening to you. They seem to be listening to somebody else talking that only they can hear, and in a way they are. They're listening to the raving, screeching voice of their own feelings. For a pathologically narcissistic person, feelings are facts. Instead of being able to view their feelings objectively as temporary reactions that may or may not be logical, their feelings are interpreted as factual. In practical terms, this means they fit the facts to their feelings rather than reacting emotionally to the facts. To put that into perspective, most people don't get upset until something happens or is done to them. Narcissists are already upset, and because of that, they become convinced that something must have been done to them to cause those feelings. This happens partly because narcissistic people are so divorced and separated from their feelings through years of denying and avoiding them that they can experience their feelings as coming from somewhere outside themselves. This is why they'll say things like, "I know you hate me, I can feel it." And you're sitting there like, okay, well, you're not getting that from me because I don't hate you. That's their self-loathing, their own self-hatred that they feel. In other words, in these situations, they don't recognize that these feelings were already there and they're not even related to the situation at hand. They become triggered and offended or hurt so easily that the feelings they already feel break through at the slightest provocation, and then they blame the other person for causing them to feel the way they already felt but have been denying. For example, if you say, "Why didn't you wash the dishes?" the shame that the narcissistic person already feels breaks through their denial. This can cause them to lash out at you angrily in self-defense, accusing you of trying to hurt them, to make them feel bad, of demeaning or degrading them, or any number of other things, not because of what actually happened or what was actually said, but because of that shame that they're constantly carrying around. This can be very hurtful and stressful to a partner or a family member who in no way meant anything like that and certainly was not trying to be mean. And now there's no reasoning with the narcissist because they are far too upset. They will not listen to anything other than what their feelings are telling them. Proof doesn't matter, logic doesn't matter, nothing matters except for their feelings. It's like dealing with a little kid. In some ways, although I certainly understand why people feel this way, it's almost weird for me to hear narcissists described as these apex predators. These are some seriously fragile people. They can't live in reality. They can't face the truth. They live every single day playing pretend like a child. They feel hurt and offended and attacked by almost everything anybody says or does, sometimes even things that are complimentary or kind. And why? Because their feelings dictate their reality instead of the other way around, and they seem to have no way to recognize that this is a problem. Most people operate like, "You said something mean, therefore I'm upset and angry." Narcissists operate like, "I'm upset and angry, therefore you said something mean." It's backwards. Events, actions, and things that are said are interpreted through the lens of the narcissist's feelings. Because of this, events, actions, and motives will often be reframed to fit the narcissist's emotional narrative. Seen through the lens of this emotion, things that happen or that other people do and say often become much more sinister, suspicious, and personal to the narcissist than they actually are. This is one reason why people are often accused of having motives they don't have, or of saying and doing things that they did not say or do. This is also one of the big reasons it's impossible to reason with pathologically narcissistic people, especially when they're upset. They can't even really hear what you're trying to say, and even if they could, they're certainly not going to trust you over their own feelings, which override literally everything. Sometimes they can't even get what they are trying to say to come out right. Narcissistic people have immense difficulty communicating with any authenticity because everything coming in and going out has to go through that emotional filter. More than that, since their feelings are interpreted as factual, those feelings are considered evidence. This must be true because I feel it. The proof that you were intentionally trying to hurt me is that I feel hurt. The proof that you are tricking me is that I feel tricked. The proof that you are cheating is that I feel like I've been cheated on, and so on and so on and so on. There's no way to communicate in this situation because the premise of the conversation and the issue are illogical. It's you trying to talk this person out of their feelings they often had no logical basis for in the first place. Not only is that not possible, but it can make the narcissist feel as if you're trying to manipulate them. Narcissistic people have huge issues with trust. They don't even trust themselves, so they're generally in a constant battle between trying to determine what is safe and what is not safe. One moment they trust you more than themselves, so you're a safe place. The next moment they trust themselves more than you, so now you are not a safe place. In situations such as our example about the dishes, if they were to believe you over their own feelings, that makes them vulnerable to you and whatever evil things that you're probably going to do to them at some point, possibly, maybe, they're for sure. That can't be allowed to happen, and it won't be allowed to happen. Even tangible, physical proof does not matter to them in these situations. They are so worried about being tricked and about not being wrong that they can appear almost delusional. So you say, yes, but here's a video of what actually happened. Oh, you edited that to make me look bad or to make yourself look better. Yes, but here's a picture of you doing this thing that you said you didn't do. You faked that to make me look like a liar. Yes, but here's a message in your own words. You wrote that and sent it to yourself to frame me. There's no reasoning with this. It's illogical and it's ridiculous. The overwhelming emotions coupled with their fear of being vulnerable and taken advantage of, along with their pathological need to be right, or more precisely, not to be wrong, make communication with this kind of person impossible. You are not on a level playing field at all. Whether they realize how absurd their arguments can be is a difficult question. Some probably do, but they might feel they've gone too far with it to simply just give in, no matter how stupid it sounds. Others may be in the grip of whatever emotion they're feeling and just running off at the mouth without even really realizing what they're even saying. Some may believe that they're smarter than the person they're arguing with and can somehow make these ludicrous arguments work, while others may be making these nonsensical arguments because that's literally the only thing they have left to say. It doesn't really matter whether they know they're doing it or not, or why they're doing it or anything else. It isn't possible to communicate with someone who cannot or will not listen to you, and it doesn't really matter why. The naked truth is that even if you could make them hear you, they still wouldn't care. I hope this clears a few things up for you. As always, I look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions, so please keep those coming. I take appointments online, over the phone, via email, via text messenger, and through Skype. So if you're interested in speaking with me one-on-one, you can visit littleshaman.org to go ahead and do that. I teach workshops a few times a month. We have the Boundaries Workshop and the Shadow Workshop running right now. So if you're interested in learning more about that or signing up to participate, you can do that on littleshaman.org as well. You've been listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by shamanspiritcenter.com and littleshaman.org. That's me, the Little Shaman. May the Great Spirit bless you and have a wonderful day.